I'm standing so that I don't fall asleep. Welcome back! Let me teach you a little lesson in irony, kids. When it comes to YouTube, I'm usually annoyingly over-prepared. I usually have like 5 to 8 weeks worth of videos pre-filmed, edited, scheduled for upload, thumbnails ready. I am on top of it. If I'm going on a 4-day trip, I will have 2 months worth of videos ready just in case something happens. And people are always like, hey Gab, why would you do that? And I'm like, what if something happens to my equipment? What if I get stuck somewhere and I can't film? What if I get really sick and it becomes very difficult for me to stand behind lights and be energetic? Well, this is the first time that I don't have anything prepared and I am on my deathbed. But we're about to turn it on. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Welcome back! No, I'm sorry, I can't be that person today. As you guys know, I travel a lot. And as most people probably feel, I hate traveling a lot. Like, I love going places, I love being in new places, but the act of flying and airplanes and cabs and Ubers and packing and checking your bags and picking up your bags at baggage claim and waiting for the seatbelt light to turn off so I can finally go pee, all of those things I'm not a really big fan of. Now, something that can make it exponentially worse is somebody sitting next to you on a plane who just is a nightmare. I like to consider myself the best person ever to sit next to on a plane because I am polite, I am quiet, I know how to sleep within my own space, and I'm not gonna ask you where you grew up. I also won't ask you if you have any pets or kids or what area of town you live in. Some of you have probably picked up on this by now, but I don't do small talk. If you are a stranger who I've never seen before and will never see again in my life, I don't care where you went to school. This is all you need to know about me. Now, if you want to strike up a genuine conversation with me and we can talk about some deep shit, I'm down for that. But don't you dare ask me how many siblings I have, please. So one day I sit next to this guy. I can already tell he's gonna be a chatty Cathy. Let's call him Jeff.
My name is Jeff.
Let me just set up for you the type of person Jeff is. Jeff is the type of person who wants to ask you about your life so that he can tell you about his. So when Jeff says, what do you do for a living? Jeff doesn't care what I do for a living. Jeff wants to tell me that he's a voice actor, a director, a writer, a musician, and I later come to find that all of this really means that Jeff works at a Staples. No shame in the game, Jeff. So I play this game with Jeff for a while where he keeps asking me questions, not listening to my answers, and just waiting for his turn to tell me his answer. Because that's really what this is about. I pull out my laptop and I start watching a movie. Which generally, when somebody puts headphones in their ears and is now focused on a screen, I feel like that's universal code for, hey, this conversation's over. Not for my buddy Jeff. My buddy Jeff keeps tapping me on the shoulder and saying, hey, sorry to bother you, just one last thing. Now this right here is actually where the story starts. The last time he taps me on the shoulder while I'm trying to watch my movie, he says, how are you getting home? I said, I normally Uber out of the airport. He was like, oh, I normally take this shuttle thingy majiggy, but would you want to split an Uber? And I said, where do you live? Guy lives really nowhere near me, but I live halfway to his house. So he was like, would you like to split an Uber to your house? And then I'll call an Uber from there to my house. And in my head, not for even a second did I think, hey Gab, you don't want to give this guy your address, or maybe you shouldn't have a strange man dropped off at your home. I just wanted to watch my movie. So I said, sure. So it's settled. So the flight's over. Of course, he's one of those guys who freaking claps when the plane lands. And he says, are you still down to Uber? And I already said yes at this point, and I'm just like tired and I want to go home. Luckily, one of my YouTube friends who's also from Pittsburgh was on that flight as well. And I'm like, ooh, I know, I'm gonna bring her. She lives really close to me. We're all gonna Uber together. So I introduce him to her, and right away, I swear this guy has a script. Everything that he was asking her was exactly what he was asking me so that he could tell her about himself. The same like, oh, what do you do? Oh, I'm a voice actor. Like the same exact thing. It's like he plans it at night. Like he goes home and he like wrote an algorithm. What can I ask this person to get the most information about myself out into the universe? Says the girl who puts every bit of her life on the internet. I hate my personality today. Alright, so we're talking about Uber again. Now it's the 3 of us. And he goes, so is it cool if, you know, one of you calls the Uber and then I give you guys cash? And I was like, oh no, we can just like split fare on Uber, because on the app, if you're riding with multiple people, you can send an invite to other people so you can all split it evenly. And he goes, oh, okay, I don't have the app though. And I literally looked at his phone and the Uber app was on his phone. And I was like, that's Uber. And he was like, oh yeah, right, I forgot I had to download it for, it was just the weirdest thing. So I call the Uber, I send the request to split to my friend, and then you need their phone number. So I asked the guy for his phone number so that I could split the fare with him. And he gives me this phone number and I send it, and I'm just like, did you get it? And he was like, no, I didn't get it. So we get in the Uber. I'm like, I'm gonna try to send it again. So he's in the front seat, my friend and I are in the back seat, and I look at my phone and I'm like, oh my God, we're gonna get murdered. I looked at the phone number that he gave me and the request went to somebody named John. So he gave me a fake number for this Uber. Like, who the hell is John? Your name is Jeff. Are you going to kill me? Why did I get into a car with a stranger? Why am I showing him where I live? Why did I bring another person in here with me? Now her blood is on my hands. I feel like what it felt like was he didn't want to leave a paper trail to my murder. That's genuinely what it felt like. Like, he didn't want his name attached to me in any way so that when I turned up dead, they couldn't look it up and be like, oh, well, she shared an Uber with this guy, so he must be the one who chopped her body up into bits and threw it into the lake. So now I'm just praying, confessing my sins, asking for forgiveness. So my friend's house comes first. She's like, lives 2 blocks away from me. The plan the whole time was he was going to give us each cash for a third of the trip. She gets out of the car, gets her luggage out, doesn't offer her any money whatsoever, which is just like rude, you know what I mean? But I think he's more worried about what he's gonna eat for dinner, aka my spleen. She goes inside and then it hits me, wow, I'm about to be alone with this man. So the driver goes to my place, drops me off in front of my house with him, and now it's just me and him alone on a dark street corner. Good thinking, Gab. You really thought this one through. Congratulations. So we're standing on the corner. Obviously, this guy's not gonna offer me any money, which I don't care about. I'm just happy to be alive. If I get out of this with all of my organs, I feel like it's a successful trip. So I have all my bags, walking away, and I'm like, it was nice to meet you, Jeff. And he goes, oh, wait, stop, I almost forgot. And I'm like, oh, he's probably gonna offer me money for the $70 Uber ride. And he goes, we should stay in touch, we have a lot in common. And I was like, oh, don't worry, I have your phone number. You put it in my Uber app, remember? I wish I could show you his face, but it is in my mind forever, which I'm so grateful for. Now I have to get back into my apartment, and I'm kind of like waiting for him to leave because I don't want him to see which door I go into. So I go to the back building where I live, and I'm like lugging my stuff up the stairs, and I'm honestly paranoid. I can feel him behind me. I feel like he's gonna come stab me or something. I'm literally afraid to turn my back on this guy. I make it up the stairs, and as I'm opening the door, I hear somebody pummeling up the stairs towards me. Like, I hear full force running towards me. So I took my keys and I chucked my keys at this guy's face. Lucky for him, I have terrible aim, completely missed. But I screamed bloody murder. It's like 2 a.m. right now. He goes, wait, stop. I just wanted to give you some money for the trip. I almost forgot. This guy gave me $5 to split between me and my friend for the $70 Uber ride. He never even asked how much the ride was. It's just whatever. Don't get in cars with strangers. That guy could have killed me. Then a few months later, I get this email from somebody who I don't recognize named Jeff. Nice to meet you the other day, Gabby. Sorry for scaring the out of you when I brought you your Uber money, haha. What do you say we meet for coffee? He had to email me because obviously if I was to text that number that he gave me, it would go to somebody named John. There are 2 morals to this story. 1, don't get in cars with strangers. 2, be prepared on planes to avoid small talk at all costs. But seriously guys, flying sucks, and there's a lot of things you can do to make it a little bit better. I always have something to do on a plane. I just make sure that I'm always prepared with something. One thing that I actually love to do on planes, especially when there's no Wi-Fi or anything, is listen to audiobooks on Audible. I'm somebody who's always been into like podcasts and listening to people talk and AM radio. When I do my makeup in the morning, I don't listen to music, I listen to like stand-up. It's cool because they have like over 180,000 different books to choose from. So chances are there's something on there that you're gonna like. I've actually been trying to catch up on like every YouTuber book ever. Right now I actually have Grace's book, Grace and Style, The Art of Pretending You Have It, because I love Grace very much, and when I'm up on a plane, I would like to hear her voice since I can't listen to it on the YouTubes. It's like my mom was reading me a bedtime story. Audible is offering a 30-day free trial to my subscribers, so you can go to audible.com/Gabby and get a book for free. I recommend using it when you have a really long trip where you don't know who you'll be sitting next to. Okay. Let me know in the comments if you have any really annoying plane experiences, which I know the majority of you do. Give this video a thumbs up if you want me to feel better. Make sure to check out my other social media, and as always, I love you very much, and I'll see you next time.
Could we pretend that airplanes in the night sky are like shooting stars? I could really use a wish right now, wish right now, wish right now.
Yeah. Ew. Was that a cough or a sneeze?